Do you want to know what bit depth and sample rate are? In this video, I explain the differences between the two and go over everything you need to know about bit depth and sample rate. Hello everyone, and welcome to Distinct Mastering. My name is Freddie. I'm a mastering engineer, producer, DJ, and president of Sleeping Giant Music. For over 2 decades, I've helped artists grow their careers, and now I'm here to help you with your music production skills. If you'd like a free stereo mastered sample from me, be sure to check out the link below in my description. I always offer first-time potential clients 1 free stereo mastered sample. And now, let's talk about bit depth and sample rate. In order to understand bit depth and sample rate a bit better, let's first briefly chat about sound. Sound is naturally continuous analog information, traveling in the shape of a waveform. Here's an example of a waveform, specifically one wave cycle, displaying both its positive and negative values in amplitude. The positive value is the top half of the amplitude, and the negative value is the bottom half of the amplitude. The act of capturing sound over time is called sampling. So therefore, one sample is a snapshot of the waveform's amplitude at a specific point in time. The number of samples taken per second is what's known as the sample rate. Here's an example of a waveform showing you many different samples and the common sample rates found in most DAWs these days. The frequency spectrum that the human ear can typically hear ranges from 20 Hz to 20,000 kHz, as you can see in this example above. This is measured in units of cycles per second, also known as Hertz. Now, without getting into too many of the details, according to the Nyquist theory, if we sample a 20 kHz signal with only 20 kHz sample rate, we would only get half the cycle. So therefore, if you want to get a full wave cycle at 20 kHz, you need to be sampling at 40 kHz. One important detail to note about sampling is that the highest frequencies can cause some aliasing issues. An anti-aliasing filter is used to prevent that. To properly capture the full frequency spectrum of 20 Hz to 20,000 kHz, we need the aliasing filter to occur above the 20,000 kHz. Therefore, a sample rate higher than 40,000 kHz must be applied so that the aliasing occurs above the 20,000. A low-pass filter is used and rolled off at the 20,000 mark to make sure that the aliasing occurs above and we keep the rest of the frequency spectrum intact. On top of the time axis, digital systems have a resolution along the amplitude axis as well. This is what's known as the bit depth. The greater the resolution of the bit depth, the more accurate representation of the actual amplitude of the waveform. Here's an example of a digital system with a low bit depth. And then here's an example of a system with a bit higher of a bit depth. And then once again with an even higher bit depth. So a 24-bit system has a higher resolution than a 16-bit system. Another advantage when using a higher bit depth is you get greater dynamic range. A typical 16-bit system has a dynamic range of 96 decibels, whereas a 24-bit system gets you up to 144 decibels. It's much more enjoyable and pleasant to work and mix on a 24-bit system versus a 16-bit system. The most important factor when determining the quality of your sampling lies within your audio interface and the quality of its analog to digital converters and filters. Standard bit depth and sample rates for CDs are 16-bit, 44,100 samples per second. This has been around for many years and dates back to the old VHS cassette tapes. The reason that this was chosen as a standard sample rate was because it was higher than the 40,000 kHz required to capture the full spectrum up to 20,000 kHz. And 44,100 samples per second was compatible both with the European PAL and the US NTSC film standards. Although 16-bit 44.1 is still commonly used today, most people are using much higher applications, including 24-bit resolution and sample rates up to 192,000 kHz. Sometimes I have some clients that have had some problems in the past with sample rate issues, so I thought this would be a very important topic to bring up. You can essentially look at sample rate as the speed of playback. For example, if we take a recording that has been recorded at 48,000 kHz sample rate, and then we force it into a session that's 44.1, it's going to sound slowed and pitched down. And vice versa, if we take a sample rate of a recording that's been recorded at 44.1 and put it into a session that's running at 48,000, it's going to sound fast and pitched up. It's very important to note, while working with higher bit depths and sample rates, You are capturing higher quality audio, therefore your file sizes increase. One last important topic to discuss. Make sure you start your recordings at the highest quality bit depth and sample rate. If you start at a low quality and try to convert up, you're not gaining any audio quality, you're only increasing your file size. Second, you should never downgrade during your sessions. You should only downgrade your bit depths and sample rates at the very end of your mastering stage. Downgrading your bit depth requires a special technique called dithering. If you want to learn more about dithering, leave me a comment below and I can make a video on that. Thank you for watching this video. If you have any questions about bit depths or sample rates, be sure to drop a comment down below. Lastly, if we've never worked together before and you'd like a free stereo mastered sample from me, be sure to check out the link in my description. My name is Freddie from Distinct Mastering. If you like this video, please hit the like button, subscribe to my channel for more videos, and use the bell notification to stay up to date. Thanks again and have a great day.